President Bush declares he does not have anthrax. Good evening and welcome to NewsCenter at 9:30. I'm Jared Hall.
And I'm Melissa Cordial. Traces of anthrax have been found in the mail facility that serves the White House. CNN's Skip Loescher has more from Washington.
There are no signs of anthrax in the White House itself, but there are signs of it in two facilities that process its mail. Trace amounts of anthrax have turned up on a machine at the Anacostia Naval Station, where mail bound for the White House and the Secret Service is screened for explosives and the like.
It was found on what's called a slitter, which is a mechanical device that opens the mail. It was not found on any mail itself.
Authorities believe the anthrax may have come from a contaminated letter that passed through the Brentwood Postal Facility in Washington. 2 men who worked there have died. At least 2 others have been infected. Dr. Ivan Walks of the D.C. Health Department.
They're confirmed as anthrax deaths.
At the White House, the president flatly stated, "I don't have anthrax," but he didn't say whether he had been tested or treated for it.
We're making sure that the West Wing, the White House, is safe.
In New Jersey, yet another postal worker has inhaled anthrax. She worked at the facility through which contaminated letters were sent to NBC's Tom Brokaw and Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle. Authorities are offering antibiotics to all postal workers at facilities where anthrax has been found. On Capitol Hill, the House and Senate both had floor sessions as hazmat workers tested for signs of anthrax in congressional office buildings. They remain closed and may for a while. In Afghanistan, more bombing raids against the Taliban and al-Qaeda forces. Coalition planes also zeroed in on fuel dumps. And the Pentagon says the bombing will likely continue through the winter. In Washington, I'm Skip Loescher. Back to you.
The anthrax-laced letter sent to NBC's Tom Brokaw and the editor of the New York Post both had identical messages in similar handwriting. Authorities say a third anthrax-laced letter sent to House Majority Leader Tom Daschle also contained a similar but not identical message, as well as similar handwriting. All 3 letters were dated September 11, 2001, and all were mailed from Trenton, New Jersey. The Justice Department released copies of these letters today. According to Health and Human Services Secretary Tommy Thompson, the government is acting quickly to secure postal facilities and employees from the threat of anthrax. He also says the president is requesting aid to ensure sufficient pharmaceutical supplies.
The present request includes $643 million to expand the national pharmaceutical stockpile and $509 million to speed the purchase of 300 million doses of smallpox. And with these resources, HHS will expand its program capabilities to respond to an all-hazardous event.
Some postal workers say the government has not acted quickly enough to protect them. The Postal Service says that every postal worker in the Washington, D.C. area will be given antibiotics for 10 days as a precautionary measure after the anthrax-laced letter was opened in the Senate office last week.
The Pentagon now acknowledges 2 instances over the weekend in which U.S. bombs missed their targets in Afghanistan. One landed near a residential neighborhood in Kabul, while another fell near a home for senior citizens in Herat. Now, there's no word on casualties, but the Taliban had claimed that 100 people were killed in a hospital in Herat. Defense officials also say 2 U.S. helicopters came under fire in Pakistan over the weekend as their crews attempted to retrieve the wreckage of a helicopter that crashed Friday. And officials say the wheels were torn off another aircraft during a raid, but that the chopper made it back safely.
Well, Nicholas, it was a gray and dreary day today.
It certainly was. That rain just kept falling all day, and unfortunately, it's going to keep falling over the next few days. For tonight, severe storms are possible out there. We'll see a low of 64 degrees.
All right, thanks. Police officers in Adams County are mourning the loss of a fellow officer tonight. Officer Jerry Weiss died this morning when he lost control of his patrol car and it flipped over during a pursuit. The Decatur police officer and another officer were in separate cars chasing a van whose occupants are accused of shooting at a house. Neither the van nor its occupants have been found. Weiss had worked with the Decatur police force in Northeast Indiana for 4 years. He's the first Decatur officer to die in the line of duty.
A task force reviewing election reform has delivered 29 recommendations to Governor Frank O'Bannon. The proposals want to let voters cast absentee ballots for any reason and allow people with questionable eligibility to cast provisional ballots. The task force began looking at election reform last spring and completed its work yesterday. The task force's recommendations are designed to make voting easier and more accurate. The chance of General Assembly adopting these measures is unclear.
Security measures have taken a front seat in Indiana, and today officials on the Counterterrorism Council met behind closed doors to discuss the state's concerns. Council Chairman and Lieutenant Governor Joe Kernan says closing the meeting to the public ensures frank dialogue about security matters. At the top of today's agenda, security at the Indiana State House. Council members say they may consider ways to step up safeguards for lawmakers and others who work in the Capitol. Other states are also wrestling with how to balance security and openness in their state houses.
Layoffs may be in store for employees of Ameritech. State regulators are warning Indiana of these possible layoffs. The parent company of Ameritech, Indiana's largest phone company, has announced to cut several thousand jobs nationwide. SBC Communications has not decided the number of job losses in Indiana yet. However, says the layoffs won't result in a loss of quality or service. The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission told the utility that it would not tolerate low staffing levels, saying labor issues contributed to poor performance in the past. And from our partners at the Ball State Daily News, here's a look at tomorrow's headlines tonight. Judy Shepard, mother of a hate crime victim Matthew Shepard, will give a speech tomorrow. The Ball State Daily News has that preview. Plus, Ball State has filed a lawsuit to obtain property on Calvin Avenue, and Delaware County is putting together a task force to protect against a possible terrorist attack. These stories and more in tomorrow's edition of the Ball State Daily News.
Well, a Ball State police officer is off the job for a while. Next on NewsCenter at 9:30, details on the officer's suspension.
And these ladybugs aren't so ladylike, invading our homes and taking over campus. We'll see how students are dealing with the bugs next on NewsCenter at 9:30. A university police officer is suspended today, that according to the Ball State Daily News. Dean of Students Randy Hyman says university officials suspended UPD Corporal Mike Milbourne after he told officials he was napping during jury deliberations of the trial of former officer Eric Moore on July 2nd. Then, after another UPD officer came to officials saying Milbourne had been in the area, Milbourne was then able to recall being present outside the Delaware County Courthouse. Hyman would not release the name of the officer who came forward on July 20th about Milbourne's location. A Ball State sorority is paying tribute to a former sister this weekend. Delta Zeta sorority is sponsoring a benefit walkathon in tribute to Melissa Steckler. Steckler died July 31st at Riley Children's Hospital in Indianapolis, 2 months after her car accident. Sorority members say this event is important for themselves, Ball State students, and Steckler's family.
Her family's coming out, and we just encourage everyone from Ball State and from her hometown and anyone who wants to participate to come and show for her memory.
Melissa was actually my best friend all through high school and my roommate last year, and so it's been really hard, but it's good to have all the support from all my Delta Zeta sisters.
If you would like to be part of the walk, here's how you can get involved. The walk is this Sunday beginning at 1:30 at the Student Center. Sign up is tomorrow and Thursday at the Ball State Bookstore from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The entry fee is $5. Proceeds will go to Riley Children's Hospital.
Well, Melissa, they crawl, they fly, they stink, and they're just everywhere.
We're talking about ladybugs, of course, Asian ladybugs, that is. NewsCenter reporter Jason Luzak is live at the news desk with more. Jason, these bugs are just everywhere.
That they are, Melissa. The Asian ladybugs, also commonly called stink bugs, have invaded campus. You may have seen them crawling in your classrooms and swarming on the sides of buildings. And no doubt they've found their way into dorm rooms, and students are not happy.
Like, if you're sitting there, they just attack you. And I was walking over by La Follette the other day, and I told my roommate, I'm afraid to talk, because one's going to fly in my mouth.
The stink bugs are everywhere, crawling through the windows, doors, and even air conditioners, trying anything to get inside dorm rooms. Once inside, these stinky bugs wreak havoc on students' lives. Nothing is safe from the wrath of these bugs.
They're all over my stuff. When I'm trying to take a shower, when I wake up in the afternoon, they're on top of my soap and everything else.
Don't think you can just kill these bugs. They use a secret weapon.
You stink so bad afterwards.
Well, if you pick them up, they like squirt this nasty stuff on you and it smells really bad and you have to go wash your hands.
The Asian ladybugs were set free in the United States about 25 years ago to control aphids. They have done a good job controlling aphids, but they like to spend the winter indoors. That's why they invade houses and dorm rooms everywhere. But one thing's for sure, Students around campus hope that these bugs will soon be dead. Sorry. It's best not to try to pick up the ladybugs by hand because they can release a fluid that irritates the eyes. They also stink when you squash them. So Jared and Melissa, I don't know, vacuum them up, get some Raid to kill them, who knows? I don't.
Thanks, Jason Luzak, live in the Update Center tonight.
Well, I don't know about the stink bug situation, but the weather's not looking much better either.
Well, Jared, I did see some strange pictures over the radar. Maybe it was more ladybugs.
Probably
I don't
was.
know.
Probably was.
Not while more ladybugs aren't moving our way. A strong weather system is. I'll tell you more coming up next in the full forecast. Good evening, everybody. Taking a look at our page in the Weather Almanac for today, Tuesday, October 23rd. We see our temperature didn't change too much throughout the day. We saw a low this morning of 62 degrees, only got up 6 degrees more to 68 degrees. The sun rose at 7 a.m. and set tonight at 5:51 p.m. Across the state of Indiana today, let's see how it compares to us here in Muncie. 66 up in South Bend, 71 in Indianapolis, 74 in Evansville. Moving on to our satellite picture, as you see, here's the storm system which came through, dropping storms throughout Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio today, and is moving out of the area this evening. However, look, what we're watching right now is this front right here. It is rapidly moving to the southeast and will be pushing into Indiana, the Ohio Valley, and parts of Tennessee and Kentucky tomorrow. Closer up at that picture, here are the storms that we're moving through tonight. Spread through Effingham, Illinois to Vincennes, up south of Indianapolis and into Dayton and Cincinnati, Ohio. Currently outside, mostly cloudy skies, a temperature of 65 degrees, sticky out there, humidity's at 90%. Lows tonight, we're only going to be in the 60s. Not too bad when you consider that our friends in the Northwest are shivering tonight with 20s and snow. For tonight here in Muncie, showers and thunderstorms, some severe possible. We'll see a low of 64 degrees. Tomorrow morning as we're waking up, more rain though, high of 65 degrees. Bring that umbrella as you head out the door. And tomorrow in the highs, again, not so bad, 70s here in Indiana. And look up north, 30 degrees. Aren't we glad we won't need our hat and gloves tomorrow? And for tomorrow, thunderstorms continue, a high of 71 degrees. And looking at our 3-day outlook, no, you're not seeing things. Those aren't ladybugs. Those are snowflakes for Thursday. A high of 45 degrees, and we might see a mix of snow and rain on Thursday. 48 on Friday, 49 on Saturday.
I'm confused about this. 71 degrees tomorrow, and then I'm going to see snow on Thursday. That kind of upsets me.
I know. It's
You don't like the snow at all, do you?
moving.
You don't like any precipitation.
I don't like snow
You
or
need to move
rain.
to Florida or something, then Miami.
I do, definitely, I do. All right, thanks, Nicholas.
Thanks, Nicholas. Well, sports, I guess you could say, is just on a roll, and Corey handed out the football team, got a few honors today.
Yes, they did. A couple of our players got awards. Corey Parchment and Lorenzo Scott. I'll have more on them later. We'll also have news on Major League Baseball later tonight when NewsCenter returns. Two Ball State players were honored this week for their play this past weekend. Wide receiver Corey Parchment was named Mid-American Conference Special Teams Player of the Week after he had his 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, propelling Ball State to an upset win over Toledo. Linebacker Lorenzo Scott was named MAC Defensive Player of the Week after tallying 12 tackles in the game this weekend. Scott helped lead the Ball State defense in shutting down Toledo's running game. Toledo only gained 70 yards while only allowing star running back Chester Taylor, who came in averaging over 127 yards a game, to just 25. This was the first time this year both players were honored by the conference. If someone were to have told you a week ago Ball State would be undefeated in the Mid-American Conference West Division and in sole possession of first place, they probably would have been laughed at. NewsCenter reporter Todd Bella takes a look at one of the greatest upsets in the history of Ball State football.
The large homecoming crowd on Saturday sure got their money's worth. Ball State looking for perhaps the biggest win in school history against number 23 Toledo. After a scoreless first quarter, Cardinals jump ahead. Mike Langford from 38 yards out, one of 3 field goals on the afternoon. Toledo would strike right back, however, with Tavares Bolden on a 5-yard keeper. Cardinal special teams come up big. Tommy Shembra gets the block, and that'll set up Marcus Merriweather for a 3-yard score on the second effort. A 2-point conversion made it 14-7 Cardinals. The defensive line was stingy all afternoon, holding the Mac's number 2 rusher, Chester Taylor, to just 34 yards on 18 carries.
It had all the makings for a Cardinal upset. Bad penalties, poor special teams, turnovers. The question was, could Ball State capitalize on those mistakes?
And they came here to play in big football games. I said, we're in a big football game, and they responded.
After the teams traded field goals, this fourth quarter halfback pass from Taylor to Bolden tied the game at 17. The Rockets would add an 18-yard field goal to take the lead 20-17 with 3:26 remaining. But on the ensuing kickoff, the stage was set for Corey Parchman's heroics. Parchman takes the kick back a school record 100 yards, his first touchdown return of his career, to give Ball State a 24-20 lead. Final chance for Toledo. Following 3 straight holding penalties, 1st and 41, Quentin Manley picks off the desperation pass. Cardinals victorious 24-20.
Guys are remembered by their performance in this game, and I said in the locker room, I don't think anybody will forget Corey Parchman's. I mean, that was one big kickoff return.
Somebody got in my way and I ran into him. Both my contacts flew out, so now I can't see anything. So I just kind of aimed for the yellow goal post and made it in there.
Reporting from Ball State Stadium, I'm Todd Bella, NewsCenter 43.
Ball State will travel to UConn this weekend and then come home to take on Central Michigan on November 3rd. The World Series is finally set. On Saturday, the Arizona Diamondbacks will face the storied New York Yankees in the 97th World Series at Bank One Ballpark in Arizona. The Diamondbacks will look to end New York's 3-year hold of the title. New York will be going for its 4th consecutive title, 5th in 6 years, and a league-leading 26 overall. The Yankees and Diamondbacks have never played each other. Game 1 is Saturday night. The pitchers have not yet been announced. A report on ESPN.com today states the Major League Baseball may consider disbanding 2 franchises. The league is considering having the Montreal Expos and Florida Marlins forfeit their franchises as early as this year. Both teams' attendance is far below any other team in the league. Montreal only averages 7,648 people this year. The league is considering having Montreal or Tampa Bay also forfeit their teams. If this were to happen, the league would then hold a dispersal draft for the players of those teams. Nothing is set in stone yet, and Commissioner Bud Selig said no decisions have been made on anything yet. And that is sports.
All right, well, it's great to know that our Ball State football players were recognized. Thanks.
All right, well, coming up after the break, Nicholas Ferry will be back with your wake-up weather.
And are you looking for a way to get involved with the anti-terrorism campaign? A pen and paper may be your answer when we return. Stay tuned.
All right, well, Nicholas Ferry joins us now with wake-up weather, and it's going to be pretty cool overnight, right?
That's right, Jared. Let's look at our weather recap. For tonight, showers and thunderstorms, some severe, a low of 64 degrees. For tomorrow morning, the rain continues, 65 degrees as you walk out the door. Bring an umbrella with you. Tomorrow, thunderstorms continue, a high of 71 degrees. And in our 3-day outlook, Thursday morning, we'll see a chance of rain mixed with snow, a high of 45 degrees, 48 Friday, 49 Saturday. Chilly week ahead.
Yeah, at least the weekend's warm, or dry, rather.
Not looking forward to the rain tonight, though. Definitely not.
All right. Thanks a lot, Nicholas. Well, can you imagine the sign "Mansion for Sale" stuck in a front yard? Well, a pre-Civil War mansion and its antique furnishings will be auctioned off this weekend. The mansion that houses Brown's Inn at Bethlehem, Indiana, that's about 30 miles northeast of Louisville, Kentucky, dates back to 1836. The mansion and a tobacco barn converted to a lodge are up for sale. Both are listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and owner Chester Brown says selling the historic buildings ends his dream of preserving a slice of 1930s life in the Ohio Valley. The property was first listed for sale last November, just before 70-year-old Brown suffered his second stroke, but there were no takers. Brown says he's hoping for one buyer for the mansion and barn at Saturday's auction.
After the terrorist attacks, people may still be looking for ways to help our nation. Many have donated blood or money to aid victims. But what about sending emotional support to our soldiers stationed abroad? That's just what one woman did by creating AdoptASoldier.com. On this website, patrons are given a soldier to support through letters of encouragement. Because of recent anthrax scares, packages and letters are not reaching the soldiers. However, people are still encouraged to participate, even if it's only by sending postcards. If you'd like to adopt a soldier yourself or you want more information, visit www.adoptasoldier.com.
That's an interesting notion, something we haven't really heard of as far as relief efforts and stuff.
Sounds pretty exciting to me. I think I'll check it out.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining us for NewsCenter at 9:30. I'm Melissa Cordell.
And I'm Jared Hall. NewsCenter 43 is an official CNN Student Bureau. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for NewsCenter at 5:30. Have a good night.